What we're going to do today is take a look at how to transpose any key to any key. Have you been in a band situation where the singer comes along and says, I've been listening to that track, but, it's a bit low for me. Can we just raise it up a little bit? Or the opposite. So you go, okay, well, what key do you want to play it in? And, maybe it's been in C, right? So we'll just take this for an example. And they say, well, I think it's better in E flat. What's typical is you might go, okay, C, D, E. You go through all the chords, and F, G, A, B, right? And then you think, well, okay, in the key of E flat, well, how many flats is that? And then you got to work it out. So, what I usually do, I go like this: E, F, G, A, B, C. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go back in a second and put the flats in. And A, where are we? B, C, D, right? Then you've got to think about how many flats is in that. Well, I happen to know that it's 3. So then you have to go, okay, Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Battle ends. Okay, so B, we've got battle ends and. All right, so we've got 3 flats in there. So then you go through all the chords. There may be major or minor chords. Typically you got major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor diminished. And so that those chords, if you're playing the diatonic chords, you're not going out of key. So then you just work it out like that. Well, there's a little bit easier way. If we play guitar, we're at a disadvantage in that we might not be able to recognize. If you're a keyboard player, you might recognize, okay, in this key we've got so many sharps or flats. On guitar, it's figuring this out that's part of the job. What you have as an advantage is that when you play in one particular key, we play in patterns, so everything's relative, right? So let's say I'm playing in the key of C. Well, I want to play in the key of E flat, so I'd have to go that same chord. I can play that, but I'm using basically the same shape. So the other advantage is that when you're playing like this, if there's a system called the Nashville chord system, and basically that is you giving each one of these chords a number, right? So this would be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're naming the chords based on the scale degree. So how does that work on guitar then? Well, let's say I'm going to take a simple example, the chord progression of C, where is it? F and G, right? Now we're talking about changing key from this key to this key, which is E flat. So in this case, when we're playing a 1, 4, 5, we can play that, which are the same chord shapes that you're playing down here. So in the exercise that I showed last week, I didn't really explain how to do it. Here's how to do it without, excuse me. So here's how to do it without having a circle of fourths. Let me show you how I do this. I'm going to go through some of the keys. The chord progression that I showed last week goes from, I think it goes like this. And then I play a 7th chord, which goes back to this one. Now this one, this chord here, that's going to be, we're going to treat this as if it's the 5 chord of the next key, right? So that would be the 5 chord of F. Do you get it? So let me do this one time again. So I'm playing this. So I'm playing. And then go into the next chord, which is going to be the F, right? And then do the same thing again. So what I'm going to do now is So in this case, I'm going from this note, which is the F, 2 frets down to that one, to that one. So basically, you know, here's what we can do. Here's kind of the formula. We got, if this is a 1, right? I'm going to put that 1 there. This note here, that's going to be a 4, and that's going to be a 5, right? And then the same thing. This note over here, that's going to be a 4, and this is going to be a 5. If you can find the root note of a chord, if that F is going to be the root note, then that note is actually there. Then a note over here would, like this, would be actually a B flat to C. Right? And then this note is going to be, that's going to be a 5 of the next chord in the circle of fourths, right? So then it's going to be B flat. So now we're kind of running out of frets over there. So we could go up here like this, or, right? So we could do our, or you could think about it from here, doing this kind of shape, going from here down to there, right? And then this is going to be the 5 chord of what? It's going to be A flat, right? And then where's the next chord going to be? That's going to be the 5 of, here's the thing. If you have a note on this string down here, we're at G sharp position right now, but or A flat. That is that is going to be the 5 of this chord, right? So we can play something like this. There we're playing the A shape. Whoops, sorry. So something like this. So you can see how we're just using those basic cage chord shapes. Because we know what the 1 chord is, then we know what the 4 and the 5 is. So that's how you can transpose from one key to any key. Now we're just using the 1, 4, 5. Of course, you need to know how to do this with the other chords, but just for now, let's take that example and go through it. Click below, and which will give a link to the website, and then you can download the track. Last week's video didn't have a good explanation of what I just went through, but it did have the exercise that I'm talking about. I've deleted the explanation in the last video so that it goes straight to the exercise. So click the link to go to the exercise so that you can try it now. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up if this has been useful, subscribe for more, and look forward to seeing you back again soon.